This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 280. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Jamie D.
And I'm Peter Rios.
And this episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by InStockTrades.com. If you want to save up to 35% off on all your new trade paperbacks and hardcovers, we'll just go to InStockTrades.com. If you order $50 or more, you'll get free shipping, which is very cool. And they have so much stuff right now. I'm just going to check some of the specials they have right now. Let's see. Well, they got, this week's top seller is 52 Volume 2 trade, $12.99. Ultimates 2 Volume 2, $12.99. Runaways Volume 3 hardcover, only $16.24 for the hardcover, and that's awesome. Iron Fist Volume 1 Premiere hardcover, $12.99. And The Hood Premiere hardcover for only $12.99.
It's by Brian K. Vaughan.
Yep, exactly.
And I think they're bringing him back or something, like they're going to make him a prominent player somehow. So I know that's probably why it's up there.
Yeah.
A lot of people are interested
Something's happening in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters for only $9.74.
Worth it.
What a bargain.
That's good. So yeah, go to InStockTrades.com.
All right, you all out there. This episode, we have another conversation with Uncle Sal, now called Daddy Sal, which you'll hear in the interview. But before we actually get to that, there's a couple things we need to get out of the way.
You can't have your pudding unless you eat your meat.
Yeah, so let's see. In our mailbox, we got some things from Tomorrow's Publishing. We got back issue number 23 with an Adam Hughes cover by Mary Jane, featuring Mary Jane by Adam Hughes. This is the Comics Go Hollywood issue. It's kind of appropriate with San Diego just wrapped up. This issue has a look on the mighty ISIS, both in TV and comics, Flash in TV and comics, a chapter on Disney, Gladstone. We have a color gallery for Adam Hughes' artwork that has a lot of Hollywood stuff. A Star Trek comic writers roundtable, Christopher Reeve Superman movie adaptations article, and even some current stuff with the Ray Harryhausen Presents from Blue Water, the comics that is coming out right now. So this is a great issue. I actually had a chance to flip through and read some of the articles, and if you're a fan of some of that stuff that I mentioned, check it out. That's going to be hitting the stand soon, or it already has. We also got Alter Ego 70, which is a second part at a look at Roy Thomas, and this is on his Marvel days in the 70s, with a cover by Gene Colan.
Can't wait to read that.
Yeah. He talks about working with Neil Adams, Ross Andru, Wayne Boring, both Buscema's, Jerry Conway, Lee, Kirby, Kane, Romita, Severance, Marv Wolfman, Wayne, Tuska, Trimp, etc., etc., etc.
It was fun listening to him talk in Charlotte. That guy's got 1,000,001 stories to tell.
Yeah, he needs this coverage because, he's the guy after Stan Lee that took over Marvel and shaped it. So this is the guy that he needs to have a lot of his stories told because there's a lot of history there.
I think he really shaped both companies. I mean, I gotta give him credit, for shaping Marvel what he did, but as far as what he did with a lot of the history. As far as DC with the the All-Stars and all that, the doing All-Star Squadron and all that. I mean, I give him credit there too.
Has his fingers everywhere. We also got
That's what she said.
Royal Flush Magazine, Book 4. This is sort of like a soft relaunch. It's been a while since they've had an issue on the stands. And I'll just read you the little press release here. Royal Flush, the magazine that Time Out New York called the ultimate collection of underground artwork. Features work by, or I should say it features coverage on Michael Anthony, Bruce Campbell, the Dresden Dolls, Glenn Danzig, Jimmy Fallon, Ric Flair, Tara McPherson. My Chemical Romance is the lead feature there. Weird Al Yankovic, there's a nice article with him. And so much more. Tackling the Comic World, Royal Flush also features work from Danny Hellman, Shannon Wheeler from Too Much Coffee Man, and Ryan Dunleavy from Action Philosophers. And let's see. It debuted at MoCA. They had a pretty cool stand there. It's in its 6th year, and they want people to know about RoyalFlushMagazine.com. So check it out. It's a huge, huge magazine. There's some great, funny strips in there. My favorite one so far is Hispanic Batman.
Batmanuel.
And it's just it's sort of like a look at underground, not only underground comics, but underground art and underground music as well. And they don't take themselves too seriously, and they try not to make it so corporate.
It has a really nice presentation too. It's
Yeah,
real solid, nice paper, and good design.
They say here it's a pipeline to the New York City underground art and music scenes and a singular passion and dedication to their product. Since their inception, their readers have known what the magazine stands for and have bestowed a great credibility on the publication. So check out RoyalFlushMagazine.com. Do you want to talk about real quick the new forums that we have up, the creative forums?
Oh yeah, we had some suggestions from some people, so we decided it was a good idea. We created a new section on thecomicforums.com for writers, artists, and colorists. I think I added. So if you're an aspiring writer, colorist, or artist, you can go in there and chat in those forums and get some tips from other people or talk about whatever you want to talk about. Or we just thought that was a good idea, so feel free to use them.
Thecomicforums.com.
Yep.
I had the pleasure of going to Comic News Insiders epised 100 this
how'd
weekend.
that go?
That was a lot of fun. They had about, including themselves and the guests, maybe about 30, 35 people there. It was in New York. Joe and Jimmy were there. Charlito from Indie Spinner Rack was there. Ian Levinstein from Comic Timing was there. Denise from the Birds of Geek. Spano, of course.
Of course.
Jeff, who goes by Search on the forum. Purple Belly from Australia.
Oh, because he was...
I saw him in San Diego. He came
right?
its way east there.
He was bi-coastal this week.
Just this week.
Just
this week.
We had all... Juan was there. Asgardian came in with a tie. He was all dressed up for the occasion. Jamie Tanner of the Aviary was there. Fred Chow and his girl Dylan were there. Fred Chow from Johnny Hero. And Greg Thompson, who's a writer and also works for the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Met him, talked to him for a little bit. The guests were Jimmy Palmiotti, John Lucas, Paul Pope, John Cassaday, Heidi McDonald, and a surprise visit by Alan Moore. So you'll have to listen to the episode to hear what that was all about.
Okay. I'm disappointed I couldn't go. I really wanted to go.
It was a lot of fun. It was probably the episode itself was probably longer than they thought it was going to be. But it was just great fun to support them and in their moment of their anniversary, and I even won a 3-card Monty game and took Spano's money.
Well, then the weekend is complete.
That's right.
Now my weekend is complete.
And just to make this yet another ridiculously long episode, let me just squeeze out some of these emails because I don't want to get backlogged.
Because we know how painful that is. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is from...
We'll be here all week.
That's right. Try to feel.
Scott Crafts. He talks about the Transformers review episodes. He goes, okay, guys, I'm in the middle of the Transformers review episode, and I can't even finish it without saying, this is now one of my favorite episodes y'all have done in a long time. Number 1, I love your review episodes. Whatever geeky, semi-comic book, blockbuster summer movie of the week, which he is now calling BSM OTW, that Hollywood sends our way, Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Transformers, etc., needs to be reviewed by CGS, the comic book property experts extraordinaire. However, what sends this review over the top is number 2, Tom Martinek. He is so awesome. If there's any way to get this guy on the show more as some added segment of the review, get this guy, please. Send the praise down the line Tom's way. And let him know that fans of CGS are now fans of Tom Martinek. Any insight he can give on the making of or behind-the-scenes view of ILM making of the BSM OTW makes the review that much better. Keep up the great work, guys. Scott from Tampa.
Oh, we got to get Tom on the stick and start getting those movie things he used to do back in order. He used to have a segment.
Yeah,
People remember all the way
movie news.
back.
Yeah. This is from John Bishop. He says, gentlemen, I don't spend much time on the forum, and I haven't been collecting nearly as extensively as I used to, but I did discover your podcast last year and have been listening religiously ever since. This summer, I had the opportunity to take my family on vacation to Pennsylvania, and listening to CGS on the cross-country trip, I was inspired to visit as many out-of-state shops as the family would tolerate. I even managed to slip out for an afternoon trip to visit Golden Eagle last Friday. This email was back in July, with my 11-year-old son. Really should have paid attention to the GPS. 422 was not the way to get to Reading from Harrisburg, though I did get to drive by Murdo's Christmas barn. As a former comic shop employee, I have to say it was an amazing experience. The sales floor has to be at least 6 times the size of the store I worked at in college, and maybe 8 times the size of the local shop. Thanks for the inspiration, John Bishop, Halberg on the forums. This is from Vicious Smith. He says, you've hit the big time when your listeners are reading, say, Dynamo 5. They see an ad for Comic Geek Speak, and they're listening to the CGS podcast at the same time.
The trifecta.
Yes.
Who was the model for the ad anyway? Was it Matt Pants, maybe?
It was me. Come on.
Nah,
the round mound of rebound. Come on. It was me.
A random silhouette. Zachary Malone says, hey, this is about World War Hulk #1. Hi, geeks. I've been catching up on some past episodes and finally getting to the first World War Hulk issue. I listened to what you all thought. Being almost a DC reader exclusively, I couldn't figure this seemingly inconsistency out myself. I believe it's Matt who asks in this episode around the 30-minute mark, was Hulk always able to breathe in space? As he correctly noted in one of the Daniel Way prologue issues, number 89, Hulk is indeed on the way to Planet Hulk on the spaceship, clearly hooked up to a breathing apparatus. Even on page 1 of this issue, in the final panel, on the bottom, we see Hulk in the spaceship with this mask on. What's up with this? Jamie seems to be a longtime Hulk fan. Any info on this one? Keep on keeping on till 300 and more. Best, Zach.
I was also wondering when I was reading that, and he's coming back on top of the ship. It just looked really cool. It was his Leonardo DiCaprio moment, and but yeah, no, it made. I was wondering that too. I was also wondering how they were breathing and talking on the moon. But I just gathered that they were inside some kind of force field, when he was on the moon with Black Bolt. So yeah, I was, as soon as I read it, I was right there with you.
This is from Kevin Schwitters. This will be the last email. He says, loyal CGS listener, to all at CGS, today is July 26, 2007, used as a reference point in case this isn't read for a while.
They know us so well.
I've been a loyal fan since episode 1. Yes, wow. That's right. I came across it a few days after you posted it, and my life hasn't been the same since.
Wow.
Not a bad thing. That is.
Wow, you were
not
with
many
us
people
through
can
some
say
stuff.
that.
Yeah, that still amazes me.
Yeah.
It really does. Not in a bad way. I just mean it's incredible to think that it's been over 2 years and they still listen. It's great. I listen to you guys first and foremost whenever it's posted, although I've gotten behind a little lady. I got behind a little from time to time. I've listened to every single one, even the footnotes on the JLA Avengers #3 cover. Looking forward to more. When I listen to you guys, it's almost like I'm there with you, taking part in something that I never had in my comic collecting years, camaraderie. Good, honest talk about comics. Most of the time I'd be in a hurry and basically have to run in and get my comics and run back out. Never got a chance to just sit and talk about what I love so much. A little about myself. I've been collecting for 30 years. I'll be 47 this September 2007. Our demographic is all over the map, which I love. I have about 20,000 comics in my collection. My very first comic was Defenders 50, a double-sized issue that co-starred Spider-Man. And so began my love of Spider-Man. I've been a fan ever since. I've read everything Spidey's been in. Even in the clone years, I still read it. I looked past the flaws because I always knew it would get better, and it did. I bought my ticket to episode 300. I wish I could say that I would be there, but I won't be able to make it. Money's too tight, and it would still be too hard to get time off from my job. But I can close my eyes and still pretend that I'm there, and I will. I've also bought a CGS t-shirt and an episode 300 t-shirt. I'll wear it while I'm listening to episode 300. And I made a donation to the computer fund. I've listened to you since the beginning, what I count as well over 382 episodes. I still have copies of all of them and go back and listen to my favorites from time to time. I figured it was the least I could do because you all, and I mean you all, have let me into your little world and be a part of something really great. I've enjoyed it all. Thanks again, Kevin from Bartonville, Illinois. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Make me cry.
How is has the computer fund?
Yeah, I think it's up to
1305.
1305.
Wow.
Cool. Pretty soon we'll be able to get HAL 2000.
That's great.
Was it HAL 9000?
I thought it was HAL 2000. Might have been 9,000.
I'm pretty sure.
We can only afford the 2000.
Open the pod bay
is just
doors.
too much, yeah. Brian? What are you doing, Brian?
I'm queuing up Stump the Reels, Jamie.
I can't let you do that, Brian.
All right. This Stump the Rio sent in by Ska Boss on the forum. Question number 1.
Oh, Ska Boss.
Yeah. Question number 1, Marvel. In the Claremont Davis era of Excalibur, what nefarious character does Megan become during the Inferno crossover storyline?
See, and Matt loaned me that trade, and I have yet to read it. Damn it. It's sitting there. Oh, she's like some dark elf. Elf queen, lord, dark elf
Thing.
I'm
about.
That's my answer. DELF, dark elf lord thing.
The Goblin
The
Princess.
Goblin Princess.
Damn
it. Oh, because Madeline Pryor was the Goblin Queen.
Yes.
Crap.
Strike one.
All right, question 2, DC/Milestone.
Oh.
What is the full name of Static's alter ego?
Peter Parker.
On. Virgil Ovid Hawkins.
Oh.
Yikes, a hoodie. That's strike
I've seen
two.
that before. I saw Virgil Hawkins. I didn't know his middle name.
I would have accepted Virgil Hawkins. So.
Yeah.
All right, question 3, Independent. In Paul Chadwick's Concrete,
Goodbye.
what did Concrete do for a living before his transformation?
He was a speechwriter.
That is correct.
Oh, wow! You give up so
He
easily.
was a congressional speechwriter or just a speechwriter?
He just has speechwriter.
He was a political speechwriter. I think for either a senator or a congressman, yeah.
You pulled out. You were so happy. You. Oh my God! I know what it is now.
I read my reference books.
Yes.
I can even tell you which one. A comic scene that you remember that magazine, Comics. They put out a book called 100 Years of Comic Strips, and it was. I brought it to the show every now and then when we do like interviews or something like that. But they break down like various time periods, but then they'll focus on like the Golden Age Blue Beetle, and then the Atom, and then Captain America, and then they worked up to like Dark Horse and Concrete, and that's how I know.
Cool. No
I'll
stump for
take
you.
it.
Yes, you will.
Awesome.
Good. By the way, when I talked about Royal Flush, you can go to Indie Spinner Rack episode 89 during their Mocha interviews, and they actually talk to the Royal Flush gang, so you can listen to what their Royal Flush gang. Haha, made it funny.
Yes, you did. When is this one going up on the internet? This one, this Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yes.
Before Chicago, then.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely
'Cause
before Chicago.
I was reading the forum as like there were some posts about did you see Pants in San Diego? It's like I'm like where's Waldo? It's like where's Pants? So I will be in Chicago.
Any meetups yet?
I don't know. There was a mention in one of the
everybody hangs out at the bar at the hotel bars anyway. so
right.
it's
I mean that's not really
there's
my
nowhere to go.
It's not really my scene. But someone mentioned that they were going to try to have a get together after one of the DC panels. I want to say on Saturday. I thought there was Sean from Raging Bullets. Again, I could be misremembering this altogether, but at this point, there's none that I'm aware of. But hell, I'll be at the DC panels. I'll be around there.
He'll be wearing his striped shirt and striped beanie hat.
There was actually a Waldo in San Diego at the con walking around.
I just wanna
But I'll have my
punch him.
pants shirt on. I'll have my CGS shirt on.
Hey, if you see Sean, ask him if he's coming to 300 because he hasn't purchased a ticket yet.
Really?
And he made it to 100.
He was the
and
second one
200.
I know who bought one for 200. Remember you saying
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering. I mean, I can understand if he's busy; it's a long way
Yeah.
for him. But
Is school starting probably around that time too for him?
yeah,
School will be probably about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
yeah. But just ask him.
I will do that.
He's a teacher. What the hell does he do?
Oh,
Oh,
I say that coming from a family of teachers. So that was all said with no That was with love. I just want to say that so nobody gets hate mail. I'm a teacher. I don't do. Yeah, I know. Believe me.
Cool. All right, put your earmuffs on.
That's right.
Oof. Yes.
Time to talk to Sal.
All right, with us on the show, once again, Uncle Sal. How you doing, Sal?
Daddy Sal.
I'm doing all right, guys. How are you?
Okay.
Sal, it sounds to me like your energy level's a little lower than normal.
No, energy's good, man. I'm like that bald chick from V for Vendetta at this point, where when being held hostage over here. I'm in the dark, and it's not much food, and there's not much rest. It's just,
Wow.
So they finally broken you down.
They haven't broken me down, man. But it's just you get to a point where you're just there's not much hope left. So I'm like it's like Shawshank a little bit. I'm still chiseling away, trying to climb through the pipe is full of shit, but otherwise it's okay.
I knew he was going to say, as soon as he said Shawshank, I thought of the pipe full of shit. I just knew he was going there. So you had your child.
Yeah, we had Anthony, affectionately Antonino in Italian. Actually, the Friday of San Diego Con, so it made for a lot of drama because I had to catch a red eye right after the con and turn around like midstream and come back to Chicago for the birth. So it was not ideal, but hey, everybody's healthy, so what are you gonna do?
Well, congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. It was very exciting, but I'll be honest with you, I was not crazy about having to stop everything in the middle of the show and leave everything and just come back. But hey, we can't always plan these things.
No. And your wife and the baby are healthy? Everything's fine?
Yeah, they're doing good. He takes after her, thank God. He's a good-looking kid. He looks just like his mother. So it's one of those deals.
Oh, thank God.
It's man, I got to tell you, man, it's like playing with a porcupine that's on fire all the time, man. This kid is just a piece of work. He's got something coming out of every orifice. If he's not spitting, he's pissing. If he's not pissing, he's shitting. He's like an accordion. You just pick him up and just touch him, and it's just and it just there's no sleeping. He's wide awake all night, and they tell me the first couple of months are the worst, but I've been working for Alex, so I'm used to it.
Now, was the timing of this earlier than what you expected?
Yeah, he wasn't due until the middle of August, so he was actually he wasn't premature, but those due dates are kind of very flexible, I guess, and we had, I kind of had a feeling. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it through San Diego without, having to stop and turn around and come back. It was actually really, all that bullshit the airlines give you about how they'll help you in family emergencies is total shit, because they were less than helpful with helping me get back. And, I had to pay a fortune to get on a red eye on Friday night to come back. And, I get on the plane, and it's like, I don't know, some ungodly time of night. And I sit down, and the lady next to me leans over, and she goes, I just want you to know that you have that seat because my husband died.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Right? I don't know what... I'm sitting there and I'm going,
Do I
so
say
I was
thank you?
I was fit to be tied as it was, so I just said, well, I guess he wasn't using it anyway, so what difference does it make? Like, what do you want from me, old lady? Your husband died. It's not my... What were we supposed to leave the seat empty for the rest of our lives because your husband died? And this lady, was 150 years old. She had like 300 rings on a tree when she was born. So it was like, what the hell do you want from me? The guy who died, was like went to high school with Christ. So I'm like, well, what do you want me to do, lady? He couldn't live forever,
Like it was your fault.
Yeah, his Social Security number was 6. And you tell me that that this old guy died, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, lady. What do you want from me? The airline sold me the ticket. I didn't kill the guy to get his ticket. At least not to the grand jury. I didn't. But,
So then,
otherwise it was good. I mean, I was at half of San Diego. I had like, you know, and as you know, half a sandwich isn't very pleasing. So.
Well, yeah, I saw you, I guess, Thursday, and I was looking for you again on Sunday, and I didn't realize until after the con that, wonder if he had the baby while he was out here.
Yeah, it was not. It's man. Let me tell you something about all that being there for the. I don't know, you know.
Sal?
It's like a car wash.
He fell asleep just for a second.
Sal?
It's not a pretty sight.
Oh, I think we're losing you, Sal.
What happened?
I don't know. You were talking, and then there was silence, and then we heard a little bit, and then there was more silence, and I think we missed that whole last thing you just said.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, I stayed in the cheap seats during the birth. I didn't go down, you know, towards where all the action was, because it's like going through a car wash. It's pretty rough down there. So I stayed up and just kind of held her hand and got pushed out of the way by all the nurses, and you know.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, you know, all that other stuff they tell you about, you know, the miracle and all that. Yeah, it's great, you know, if you know, you're into all that kind of stuff, but you know, it's something out of a real bad science fiction movie from the 70s. So I just stayed, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I had enough time to get pissed and shit on, I figured, so I took a break.
I was gonna say, it's beautiful.
How you guys doing? Enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Well, we're good.
we're good.
Yeah, it was too bad nobody made it to San Diego, huh? I mean,
What am I, chopped liver?
one of you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Pants is chopped liver, but
And no, I didn't mean it like that. I
Oh,
just meant
okay.
that it was you guys were just suspiciously absent, because normally you guys are like, you know, you're like the Immortals in 300. They're just all over the place, and there was just one of you at San Diego.
Yeah, I was amazed how many people asked me, where's Brian? Where's Jamie? Where's Peter? And I had to tell them that I was just me. Listen to the show. You guys would know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to that. I mean, get used to that's how it is with me with Alex. You know, where's Alex? Where's Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to talk to you. Where's Alex? I'm used to that kind of treatment. So.
We're gearing up for episode 300.
Yeah.
We got to say.
That's right. That's right. Or as I'd like to affectionately call it, the Great Escape.
You never thought you'd be so excited about coming here, did you?
Oh man, I'm already. I'm not even driving to Chicago. I'm walking to Chicago Con. I mean, you're going to see a chubby guy, running down the side of the highway with a comic book stacked under his arm. That's me. Don't stop me and don't yell, because I'm just going to be happy running. That's it. He's going to be like Papillon, tie himself to a raft and just throw himself in the water and hope for the best.
yeah,
With that, if he has an Atomika shirt on, it'll look like the Flash.
I don't know. Not maybe 10 years ago I would have been a little, but I've lost some velocity in the last 10 years. Too many souvlaki plates and gyros in my neighborhood for that. So.
That's funny.
But it's the whole beautiful fatherhood thing. But he's a pisser. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a lot of work, man. I mean, you know.
I know. That's why I'm laughing so much.
Yeah, it's a cruel joke, man. It's a cruel joke that you think it's one of those kind of like, you know, no matter how much you think you're ready for it, you're not ready. I mean, there's no way to prepare you for this. You know, there really isn't. It's like they tell you you're going in there and it's supposed to be, you know, one of those real weak Spider-Man villains, and then you walk in and you go, holy fuck, you know, we put 3 barrels on this guy and he's still going down. You know, that kind of thing.
I didn't know that color came out of humans when I was doing my
Well,
nieces.
the early shit is like chewing tobacco.
Uh-huh.
It's something not of this earth. It's like this black stuff that I don't know what they ingest early in life that creates this joke to kind of, God likes to see the expression on your face when you pull open that first diaper, you know. It's kind of like when, you know, Marissa Tomei won the Oscar, you know, the envelope and they look like, what? The fuck? You know, or like OJ's face when they told him he wasn't guilty. You know, that looked like, you got to be kidding me. They're letting me go. That's how I was when I opened up the diaper. I was like, there's no smell, but oh my God, this stuff, if it touches you, it's like the China syndrome. I mean, it'll burn right through to China and pop up and kill some guy doing the laundry with Buzz. You know.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean that had to be weird. Just leaving San Diego and leaving the booth.
It was, yeah. You know what? I mean, I got to thank the guys Chris Roop and Justin and Jesse and my nephews and all them, because they really pulled it together. And I didn't want to have to. I mean, when I left. I mean, I left like the cops were after me. I ran out of there, like literally left my hotel room full. I mean, I grabbed like a bag over my shoulder, with my glasses and my telephone, and got the hell out of there. And that was it. I mean, I didn't take anything with me, because I in my mind, delusionally, I was coming back. I'm like, guys, I'll be back. As soon as the kid is born, I'll be back. And then, you get there and you're like, what, are you kidding? It was like, when they put Gladiator on a cart with the leeches on his arm and they dragged him away. It's like, I'm not coming back. That's it, And I just tried to get back. They wanted like $3,000 to come back on Sunday.
Whoa.
And well, I wouldn't have got back until Sunday night. And I'm like, so what's the point, of coming back for Sunday night? When wrap up, I usually, go get something to eat and pretend I'm busy anyway during teardown, because I'm just waiting for the Teamsters to take the banners down and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get back, but Chicago's, coming up, and Chris and those guys are coming out for Chicago, which I'm going to be in Artist Alley, which will be nice. I'm not going to set up this year for Alex. Just going to do my own thing this year.
So that is still the plan, even though it's
I'm going to go. I mean, I've already been through this conversation. Let's call them conversations. For the sake of she's asleep, so I can call them conversations. And I'm going to Chicago. Barring something changing. I mean, I really need to get the hell out of here. I'm sorry. I've been doing the graveyard shift for the last week. It's only been a week, and it feels like this guy's been here for like 6 months. It's bad, man. It's all I'm gonna tell you. It's like looking for the last condom in the whorehouse. It's tough.
Did you get to enjoy San Diego at all beforehand?
A little bit. Early on, I went in early because I thought, because we had a lot of stuff to do because we got bigger space this year and all that kind of thing. So I went in early, and I managed to catch a Padres game, and the setup, because San Diego, as you guys know, the prep starts 6 months to a year before. So it was really disappointing for me and exciting at the same time to prep for a show for this and put this much work in it with those sketchbooks and the Bill Sienkiewicz and all this craziness I got to deal with. And then, right there on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock, I find out, hey, you got to leave. You got to get out of here. It was kind of like when they told me I graduated grammar school. They were like, wait a second, no, you didn't. You got to be here for 5 more years. Well, you gave me the diploma. Well, sorry, made a mistake. So it was. I didn't know how to feel. I was really, really disappointed on one hand, but yet because the show was just starting to get rev up, and then I had to get on a red eye. And if you guys have been on red eyes, you know how miserable those things are.
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun.
Sat next to Winston Churchill on the plane back. That crazy old bitch. I'm like, what is this? I was looking for somebody to yell at, but I'm like, you didn't have to give me a 90-year-old lady whose husband just died. Yeah, like.
Yeah, you're leaving. The irony there. You're so excited because you're going to see the birth of your first child, and she's all sad because her husband died.
Next to someone who has mice in her vagina. It's like
it's the circle of life, just the way Disney, just the way Disney wrote it.
So, and then you get to the hospital now, and when the maternity wards now are like cell block 8, where the security is so crazy to have a baby because babies are getting stolen all over the place. Although I'd love to have the conversation with anyone that steals a baby, because it's like wanting to go vacation in Iraq, kind of thing, because of the level of work that's involved. I'm like, well, you want to steal one of these things?
It's a different kind of landmine. That's what you have to worry about.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. It's I'm gonna back out of this because one of these days this kid's gonna listen to this and think what a son of a bitching father I have.
Now you
Podcasts are immortalized,
now you said
But he's a good kid.
You
Slept
said
more than 20 minutes at a time. It'd be nice, but
Sure. You said his name was Anthony. What's his middle name or
Anthony, and the middle name is Masaichi, which is the Japanese side of the family.
Okay.
So his mother keeps us in the will. He's half Japanese and he's half Italian, so I figured, you know what, I really, it's important. My grandmother played such a important part in my life culturally that I really want the kid to know his Japanese side of the family too. So I told Karen, my wife, let's give him, because Anthony Abbinanti, he automatically gets a free membership card to the Mafia. So I figured, I figured we need something to offset the vowels. So we threw Masaichi in there, which my mother was just thrilled about, but she'll live with it. I got one of those real old-fashioned. You ever see this Poseidon Adventure, the original one?
Mm-hmm.
Shelley Winters? That's my mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's very Italian, and with the bun in her hair, and got the apron, and beat the shit out of you at the drop of a hat. That kind of lady. Which is why I'm so sensitive and well-rounded in my adult life. She solved everything with a piece of Hot Wheel track and an extension cord.
Oh my Lord.
So anyway, you guys are coming to Chicago?
Well, I'll be in Chicago like I was in San Diego, flying solo again, apparently.
Well, you guys, what's the story?
They don't want to be with me. That's the problem.
Now, for me, it's a new job,
Oh, there you go.
so I can't take time off for that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do the Knuckles thing this year. I just can't. I'm gonna go in early, set up, and then kind of sneak out after the show to come back, and because it's good. It's great because I live close to the con now. I live driving like maybe 20 minutes drive from Rosemont. So I'm gonna I have to come back and be back before lights out here at
Stalag 17.
Yeah, I'm like Snake Plissken. I got that thing in my neck. If I stay too late, the capsules explode.
What kind of stuff are you going to have out in Chicago?
I got number 8, Atomika number 8 that I printed up for Mocha. I printed up a lot, so for Mocha, so that I would have some for Chicago. So I'm going to have that, and I'm going to bring I'll probably just save them for the 300. I'm going to bring a bunch of the Alex Ross and Bill Sienkiewicz sketchbooks for you guys and for anybody that wants them. Because I got hate letters and love letters and all kinds of letters of people that were pissed off about the sketchbook. And so I thought, you know what, I got a private stash that I put aside for, friends and people that I wanted to give some to. So for anybody who wants it, but based on the hate mail I got, people do want these things.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Atomika 8 because it's sort of like life imitating art with what's going on in those last 2 issues where Atomika had a baby.
Yeah, well, he doesn't shit in his pants in number 8, so, and he doesn't piss in his father's face in number 8, which happens with a degree of frequency around here. It's like one of those, you ever see those sprinkler systems where it just sprays and then turns around? That's kind of like what it's like having a boy. They find it very comical to pee on people, and I'm just not thrilled with getting pissed on all the time.
At least it's sterile.
Yeah. Well, now how's your baby? How's she doing?
She's good. She actually took her first steps this week.
How old is she now?
10 months.
Okay. So it does get better after she does sleep at all, or how does that work?
Yeah. She makes it through the night now for a while now, for months and months.
When did she start making it through the night?
Regularly, I think at like 4 or 5 months, but for a while around.
Yeah. That's not the answer I was looking for.
Well,
I was when I heard the 4 or 5, I was hoping days was coming after that, but I had a feeling.
Well, we had a period about somewhere around the 2-month mark where she got into a groove for like 2 weeks, and then. But the waking up business was like she would wake up once in the middle of the night. Tasha would get up, feed her, and she'd go back to sleep. So
Yeah.
it was, I don't remember how long it was until she actually made it to that one time a night routine. But
Yeah.
it's a while.
I try feeding them, but the mashed up hot dogs and stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, at 4 days old. I don't know why. I mean, I just try to feed them what I eat. You know, the pork rinds and Tabasco sauce didn't go over well either. But hey, you know.
So is Simone or Buzz, are they going to be the Godfather?
No. Only because I haven't. I'll be honest with you, I haven't even thought about it. I mean, Simone's supposed to come out. It would be great if he could. He was going to come out for Chicago, but he's got a signing at Midtown this weekend, and he couldn't get out. Or he was going to try to talk to them about getting out of it, but I told him it's probably not the best idea because they advertised it a lot. But he wanted to come out for Chicago Con, and of course Buzz is coming out, and a lot of people are. I forget, how big. And we know what's great about Chicago this year is it doesn't fall on the same weekend as Lollapalooza, which is a huge thing here in Chicago. That is the same demographic of people that go to Wizard World. So I think attendance, should be better this year than it was last year at Chicago because of that. Because, my God, it's an enormous. They close all of, Grand Park in downtown Chicago for Lollapalooza. And last year was the same weekend as the con. So
Yeah.
I think
Because Matt and I couldn't get the subway because Lollapalooza let out the same time that our plane landed. And we made the train into the city, but then we had, because we landed at Midway, so you had to go in the train into downtown. And
stay
then
away from
out.
Midway, man.
And
Too many hillbillies at Midway.
we got to downtown, and we went to transfer to the other train, and the train pulls up, and it's full.
It's crazy.
And the next train pulls up, and it's full.
And then it was a big,
Took us 4 trains.
It was a big Cub weekend last year, and there were a lot of street festivals. So, I'm looking forward to doing Chicago. This is the first Chicago I'll have done Artist Alley in a long time. So I'm looking forward to just being able to, do my own thing and draw a little bit and just shoot the shit and not have to put the suit on and do my little dance. Dancing for Whitey, as I affectionately call it.
You said Chris and those guys were coming out. What are they? Where?
Chris works for Mike Turner too,
right.
so he's going to be working for Mike, and then Buzz is doing his usual, freak show and Artist Alley, and Simone it's up for grabs. He's staying in New York for a month, and because he's going to do Toronto Con before he goes back to Italy. But he's like king shit now because of the X-Men announcement, so, which is great. I'm very excited for him. He showed me some of the early X-Men stuff. It looks great.
Cool.
He deserves it. He worked his ass off on Wolverine. I just hope it's as well received as Wolverine was. Because I don't want to move in here to the States if it doesn't go over well.
What do you think? What do you think
that
about?
Whole let one in, let one out Italian thing. So with my son being born, there's an extra one now, so Simone can't come in.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got to keep that perfect balance.
You got, you got to watch out about, especially now that I'm out in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the list. Kind of won't sell me spray paint or switchblades, and I have to be, inside by 11 o'clock kind of thing.
What's he doing in our neighborhood?
That's right. It's weird when I'm outside, watering the lawn, and everybody brings their children in. Like Quasimodo, Don't look at the funny man with the weird voice, We got a block party coming up. My wife's like, "Hey, we have a block." I'm like, "Block party?" The only time they blocked off the streets in my neighborhood growing up was when somebody got killed, when they put the chalk on the ground and the yellow tape. But here they block off the streets in the suburb at the drop of a hat, Let the kids, it's like anarchy. It's like Lord of the Flies out here with these damn street fairs. They have those moon things, They move them all up
Moon
and the
bouncers,
kids are in there jumping.
Yeah.
And I look out the windows the other morning, I'm like, my God, I thought it was like, the brown acid from high school again, because I see all these little kids.
Bouncing around.
Yeah. It's like Woodstock out there for people that shit their pants.
What do you think of Chicago moving next year, date-wise?
I think it's great. I mean, I don't know if they're as committed as they were before. to comics. I hope that they kind of next year is a whole new year. I mean, we had a bad year with Wizard, but I'm willing to, but that was this year. The next year, people have been asking me, they're like, "Hey, what's going on? Are you not doing any shows anymore because of the kid?" And it's like, no. I mean, I hadn't planned on doing Toronto. I mean, because of the birth, but Chicago I had always planned on doing. And next year, them moving to June and New York moving to April, I think is great. I mean, anytime you can have a con in warm weather instead of cold like New York, or with Chicago finally responding to the San Diego problem, I think is great. Now, what's it going to do to Philly and Pittsburgh and Mocha? Well, I don't know. I mean, that might be a problem. I mean, because Philly and Chicago are both in June now, right? That kind of.
Yeah, it seems like overkill. Well, no,
Philly's the last
going
week
to
of May or
yeah,
something?
they're going to May.
They're going to May. I mean, Chicago had always kind of played that. Oh, we don't respond to San Diego thing, kind of their the macho thing, and now they've just had to. I mean, from a business standpoint, Chicago had taken a hit from San Diego because a lot of people take their vacations or who are going to take time off of work or whatever, budget their money, do it for San Diego. If you're going to pick between Chicago and San Diego, most people will do San Diego. But a lot of Midwesterners just don't give a shit about San Diego. They want to come to Chicago. But in Chicago, I don't know, man. Wizard hasn't really knocked themselves out to bring in the A-list group of guys like they used to. I mean, no offense to the guests of honor, but when I looked on the website and my name's near the top of guests of honor, and when I'm
it's alphabetical,
guys,
of course.
You're in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah.
I mean, me and the chick from Battlestar Galactica, I'm like, hey, thanks a lot. If she's still, because my finger banging skills are not what they used to be, but I'll still give it a shot. But hey, you didn't think I was going to be serious for more than 5 minutes.
No, I guess not. But how do you follow that? I was going to say.
No. I mean, I looked on the website, and I mean, they got Casada, Turner, and Kevin Smith listed. I mean, those three guys are coming. I don't think
Kevin Smith's even
what.
coming.
I mean, Casada's coming, Mike's coming because of Aspen, and Kevin Smith's coming, because he likes to do his Q&A thing. And it's like, that's gonna, those are not guys they have to put their hand in their pocket to bring out here. Wizard needs to start inviting, more and more guests like they used to, but I don't think they want to spend the dough. I mean, I don't know if that's, a good sign or a bad sign about, their commitment to comics. But I've heard a lot of people bitching about the magazine too. That they don't think the magazine is what it used to be. I just want the con to do well because Chicago was really hurting when Wizard picked it up. I mean, it had a couple of years there where it was almost gone, where we're like, this show's over, And the Wizard picked it up and kind of kicked it in the ass. So I don't want the show to go under. So I want it to do well. But, that's because I'm in there to buy back issues and Slurpee cups and stuff,
Well, yeah, I found last year I spent a lot of money there on back issues because there was a lot more comic dealers there than I thought there would be at a big show like that. But I found a lot of stuff last year in the back issues.
I saw a lot of empty spaces last year, which was disappointing.
Really?
When I walked around, I saw a lot of gaps. I saw a lot of exhibitor spaces that were empty. And, again, I saw a lot of stuff that was, yeah, okay, people bitch about some of the corporate sponsorship things that San Diego does. But, hey, you know what? If Sony's going to come in and buy 20 booths, and that's a draw for kids, that's great. I mean, the object of the game is to try to get people, get bodies through the door. And if it has to be through Lucas or through PlayStation, whoever, then we need that stuff, man. A lot of people bitch, it should be more comics. Well, yeah, in a perfect world. But, in the end, if they can't fill that damn hall, they're going to start going, hey, maybe we better, rethink this. And if they fill the hall, then they have the money to buy, whoever, one of those retarded wrestler guys or whatever. Well, yeah, the black guy on Planet of the Apes or something. I don't know. One of those. They had the black guy from Planet of the Apes. I thought he's in the movie for like 2 minutes, and that's a guest. I mean, I could see the little guy from the Munsters or something, but not that guy. Not the guy who winds up stuffed in the museum. Who wants to see him?
This was
maybe Cyrus from the Warriors or something. How about that?
This was the first year that I had people come to me and who knew about the convention, San Diego, who have no interest in comics whatsoever. But the exposure of it is getting even bigger.
Yeah, well, there's a big article in Entertainment Weekly in this new issue about it.
San Diego or Chicago?
San Diego. San Diego. How a geek for the
San
new
Diego's
chic.
Kind of. It was weird this year in the sense that they've got the sold out thing under control. When you see sold out, because they were sold out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but sold out used to mean let's just let as many people in as we can and see what happens. Until the fire department shuts us down or until things just get ugly. But now, because they've made them add, San Diego's actually smaller now than it was in terms of booth space because the fire marshal came in and made them add another fire lane in the back because they had that one main aisle in the front. They made them add a second one of those for people, and then they made them sold out. The definition of sold out had to change. It can't just be let's sell as many tickets as we can. Now sold out means they limit. Strictly limit how many people they'll let into that damn convention hall. So even though on those 3 days it was sold out, preview night was still it was just insane, and then Thursday was you could deal with it. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're getting killed here. But Friday was sold out, but it was still manageable. It wasn't like it was last year when it was like, holy shit, where it was just 10 deep every booth and you couldn't walk and it was just too many people and it was like, So this year I'm like, they really got their shit together. Now, it's become the media darling, like you guys said, because my God, there was more press there this year than I'd ever seen. So, I don't know if it's the comic thing is some people are worried that the comics part of it is kind of taking seconds, taking a back seat, but I don't think so. Now with all the movies, maybe when the movie stuff starts to peter out, we have to worry a little bit. But we were, the Iron Man thing was right in front of my booth, which pissed me off to no end. I wasn't there, but they blocked off the aisle. They literally blocked off the aisle in front of my booth for the Iron Man thing, and Downey Jr. or not, that you can't block off the aisle, and we're there trying to make money. I don't give two shit about your armor or whatever the fuck you're doing. Like the Mark I or Stan Winston, he's 300 years old. I don't. Hey, I'm here to, good for you. It's armor. It ain't going anywhere. We're going to be seeing that armor for the next 2 years. So can you move your shit and let people come and and like take a look at what we're doing here? But on the other hand, it's good for it's great. I'm glad to see. I hope they make 10 more comic movies and they all make a ton of money because it's great for comics. It brings a lot of people in that never heard about comics. I have a lot of people that were there just to check it out because they heard about Comic-Con. They didn't know anything about it. That's what we need. We need more of those people.
What about the side effect of some of the smaller press and independent creators getting squeezed out?
Well, it's. You mean Artist Alley getting smaller?
Yeah.
Well, you see, the problem with Artist Alley is it's a no-win scenario because San Diego has fought really hard, in fairness to San Diego, to keep Artist Alley. The problem is, and this is what artists, and me included, because just because I get the Alex Ross Love Fest booth going doesn't mean that I'm still not, an artist first and foremost. They got to stop complaining so much because that's what really pisses San Diego off. Like, look, you don't pay anything for these spaces. You get them for nothing. They could make a lot of money with those spaces. So just be glad you get what you get and not make too much fuss. Yeah, sure, it's important that they're there. My God, yes. But most artists I know, Brad Street, Angel Medina, Dave Stevens, even Simone this year, or Bernie Wrightson, they've taken it upon themselves to say, hey, you know what? Let me get my own booth. Let me not put my hat in my hand and ask for a free space because then you're at their mercy, because I knew guys that got aced out this year. They got a phone call in the spring to say, Artist Alley's cut in half, you don't have a booth, and you don't have a space in Artist Alley. And these are guys that have been setting up with San Diego for 10 years. And I said, well, guys, you should have saw that coming because a lot of artists have already said, look, I need more space. You know, I don't want to be in Artist Alley anymore because it's just getting ugly like that. I think they should move it upstairs and expand the shit out of it. I don't think upstairs is the death rattle that it would have been 5 years ago. Under those tents, now up there is great. It's a ton of crowd up there. There's more room. I think they should open Artist Alley up to, 500 tables. Limit it, strictly limited to guys who are artists, not guys that are there to sell tchotchkes and belt buckles and Foghat albums. You know what I mean? Like
Get with the
some
Foghat.
kinds do. Yeah, some kinds you go Artist Alley, it's just a guy selling shit that he couldn't sell at his garage sale. Well, that's no good. It looks bad. But, I think San Diego should take a step and really aggressively try to do something cool with Artist Alley instead of just treating it like, let's shove it in the corner, which I think money has unfortunately forced them to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first San Diego Comic-Con, and I was amazed that the artists were literally in the far... Well, as you walk in on the far upper left corner there.
It's that way at every con.
Okay, so
Chicago's no different.
Okay.
I mean, Artist Alley's always at the end. No carpeting, they
That's
give
right.
you the shit treatment. But, again, you pay nothing for those spaces.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Most artists that I know have taken it upon themselves to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to bitch too much about this. I'm making a little bit of dough here. I'm getting a little bit more profile. Let me get the hell out of here. Like Adam Hughes.
Mm-hmm. He had his own
Adam
booth.
Hughes, at some cons, okay, he's a big invited guest, but he's a guy who finally got his own space because he realized, hey, I can make more money if I get a bigger space, and I don't really belong, shoved in the corner the way they treat some of these guys. I see some guys that like to stay in Artist Alley because they want to stay close to the fans. Well, that's great. Gary Gianni and a few, even Jim Lee has a space in Artist Alley. Well, there's not 500 spaces anymore the way they used to be. Clydeen, who runs the San Diego Con, it's strictly by invite only now. And, if you're not on that list, it's become the boys club. It's become very hard to get on that list. There's a lot of internal politics involved with that list now.
But isn't San Diego a non-profit organization, the Comic-Con? So if they're paying the bill,
nonprofit organization is that's a word that that's a term that you can look at it 10 different ways. Now, look at San Diego and tell me that they're not making money hand over fist.
Well, that's
officially they're there to promote the art of comic books. What the hell that means in the way of where all that money goes, I don't know. They claim it goes back into cops, traffic control, banners, money for guests, airplanes. I know when Alex was ever an invited guest to San Diego, oh my God, they treat their invited guests like kings. I mean, they give them first-class accommodations, airplane. They even give you food money every day. So they spend a lot of money on inviting all those A-list people there and to pay for all that shit you see. So, I mean, just knowing from running a booth, my God, money goes like water at a con. No matter how much money you think it's going to cost, it's 10 times more.
Well, yeah, but I mean, my point is if some guy is not sitting there, collecting, millions of dollars and putting in his personal bank account because Comic-Con was such a success, if they're supposed to be this upstanding non-profit organization that's about promoting comics, then maybe they should, turn down some of the extra money from Konami or, Universal Studios or whatever and have more Artist Alley tables, because that's the crux of the comic convention. For me, for a lot of people, is Artist Alley.
Yep.
That's like the major event. I could give a shit about all the rest of it. If I walked in,
but you also got to remember that it's not what it used to be. San Diego is not, our father's Comic-Con. San Diego has become the 800-pound gorilla that whenever I talk to San Diego, I hate to say it, but it was my idea to say, guys, you got to open it up to, San Diego is the big event. It's the Super Bowl of comics, and you shouldn't ace out the little guy, because that's me. I'm the little guy. I mean, yeah, when I'm under the guise of working for Alex Ross, I get treated nice, but that's because I pay for everything. When I'm there with Atomika, I get pushed to the side. I mean, I'm like one of Brad Pitt's kids. They don't give a shit. They want to see Brad Pitt, you know. So I agree with you 100%. I think they should expand it to open it up. But you've also got a situation where they're like, every year artists go in and bitch and cry and complain and holler at them about their spaces. And you know, there's like, well, there's also a million rules to setting up at a California show. You have to have permits. You have to have a lot of paperwork. There's guys that are squatting there that they've been trying to police the shit out of. It's gotten out of hand. I mean, it used to be where if a guy didn't show up, you could just sit down in an empty space and sit there. But you got so many artists that come from overseas now that they're trying to, like, you know, cater to some of those guys to say, hey, look, this is the only con that has international in its name. We're trying to bring in some of these foreign dudes. My solution to it is, if it's about economics, then put them upstairs, because upstairs is under those tents is fantastic. You could expand Artist Alley into just literally a whole pavilion for Artist Alley instead of shoving it in the corner with the nachos. You know, I mean, upstairs is you know where I don't know if you guys make it up there.
I've been up there.
They have all the autograph areas up there.
It's great. It used to be shit. It used to be if you went up there, you know, it was because you were there to see a panel or whatever, and it was death, because the con has gotten so damn big that most people don't even get a chance to walk around the main hall, much less go upstairs. But you know, I sympathize with artists that cry to me, hey, what can I do? And I'm like, guys, you got to you got to get your shit in a year in advance. You know, you can't call up 3 months before San Diego and say, hey, can I get a space? You know, it's a no-win scenario because of money, guys. I mean, once a show starts making that much money, the rules all change. You know, all the innocence of you know, just sitting down with your comics and drawing, it's all out the window now with that show.
Well, that's why if you want innocence, you come to episode 300.
No. Well, I mean, I don't mean it to sound like, you know, but I mean, if you want, when people cry, I say, guys, you're right. But there's a lot of shows that you could do that you don't have to deal with the internal politics of swimming with the sharks. Like, you know, the show they throw at San Francisco, like Chicago, like New York. You even got more access to things, like the LA Con, for God's sakes. You know, San Diego is like, you know, it's become a dry hump of paperwork and red tape. But you know, they're doing the best they can. I don't want to piss those guys off because they're really sweet to us, and they'll listen to, and they've listened to all these arguments, because every year I go, guys, you can't ace out Artist Alley, which has been the rumor for years that they're going to just cut it. Like, forget it, it's gone. You know, we need the space for Hyundai or whoever the fuck's coming over from, you know, some publisher you never heard of who has a book about, you know, another manga book with, you know, the pages that are backwards. Well, you know, whatever. But I'm like, you can't cut out Francesco and you know, a lot of these guys that have been in Artist Alley forever and a day. You know, some of them I still don't know why they're there, but they're there, and it's great to see them there. You know, some people when they see me there go, "What the fuck's this guy doing here?" You know, they'll let anybody in. You know, when they see me there. You know.
Plus they want their artist. Some of those artists, I guess it's become a networking thing with all the Hollywood types and stuff.
For Artist Alley or for the con?
Or for some of the artists in Artist Alley, or you know, they go out. They know that those movie companies are out there trolling for the next project.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean it's you know, like I said, it's unfortunate that they cut it down to 35 tables, you know, 35 spaces, you know, but still, Simone came out of nowhere and he got a space. I mean, not when he was on Wolverine, but when he was just an artist, you know, who was working overseas. He got in, he filled out his paperwork, he did everything, you know, above board, and the next year he got a space. The same with Claudio Castellini and Lucio Perillo, guys that came over from Italy and said, Sal, how do I get in Artist Alley? I'm like, you got to fill out your paperwork, you got to go, you know, donate a piece of art to the, you know, their charity, you know, thing is a big part of Artist Alley, and you got to play by the rules. And sure enough, they got spaces, you know. So it's not like, oh my God, I got to win the lottery to get in Artist Alley. You know, you got to have a book, you know, where you got to be make a living as an artist. You can't be Chap Yap or something.
Now you said 35. Was that the number, or were you just throwing a number?
Cut it down to 35. Well, it was
Jeez.
It was around 80 or 90, and then they cut it down to 35 spaces. Yeah,
That's more than half.
It was pretty barren back there. I didn't take an exact count, but yeah, that wasn't that big back there.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Artist Alley for most guys is free. Okay, or like perfect example, Chicago, they'll charge you, I don't know, a couple $100 or $100, whatever it is, and I always pay it just so they don't, so I don't go there with any sense of entitlement. So I just pay I pay all the, whatever it is they want. But, invited guys don't have to pay. But if you want to get a booth, if you want to get your own booth, you don't have to worry about, sitting next to somebody you don't want to sit next to, or maybe you want to expand, have more room for more product. It's not that expensive to get an exhibitor table. It's like $700-800. And considering the money you're going to make at San Diego, oh my God! I mean, it's like it's a return on an investment that you can't believe. And you can also, you don't have to get it alone. Like look at Mignola and Gary Gianni and Schultz. They get, they split a space. They sit down and they split a space together. And so a lot of artists have done that. Bradstreet does that because when he sets up with Thomas Jane. Of course, Bradstreet does it because, he's a drug addict and he never wants to sit down more than 10 minutes. So it's a different story. Simone, does it because nobody wants to sit next to him. I know from experience. I don't. So I said, Simone, you got to get your own space. Angel did it because he got tired of pissing everybody off cooking behind the booth. So he, at Artist Alley. So he got his own. I said, Gainesy, you can't bring a hot plate. So he got his own booth. So. Finally, so you see these guys. Dave Stevens has had a booth for 10 years. I've never actually seen Dave Stevens at his booth because I think he's still counting his Rocketeer money at home, naked, rolling around on his bed, like in Blow. So he doesn't worry about it. Mignola, he's at his booth just to stand there and look like he's constipated and piss people off when they ask him a question.
I think.
But a lot of these dudes have said, "I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm going to go get my own little space."
I think Angel Medina must have listened to some of your episodes because he won't answer my emails.
Angel came up. We hung out a little bit at San Diego, and he actually came by on Monday to see the baby. So it was great. We hung out, and he was over here, and we were just sitting here shooting the shit and talking comics for a while, and it was great. We haven't had a chance to hang out that much, at least outside of cons. So it was really nice to see him, and sweet of him to come by and see the kid. Two minorities in Oak Park really created a problem for the cops. But what are you going to do?
Do they keep sweeping by the house?
A little bit. They give me the old "we're just checking up" kind of thing. There was a report.
Excuse me, Mr. Abbinanti. Can we
no,
come
it
in,
was
please?
nice. I mean, because he lives a little bit further out, and he's doing. He told me he's going to. Marvel's got him doing a lot of covers now. They really like his Spidey covers, so they're going to have him do more of them because I guess the fan reaction to his Spider-Man covers has been great. So, and he's loving it because he's not on a monthly right now because monthly just eats you up. But it was sweet of him to come by. Mike Turner looks good too, man. That was great to see.
Yeah, I read that article in the latest Wizard.
Oh, he looks fantastic. He was set up across the way from me, and
that was tough to read.
We had a chance to talk for a few minutes, and he looks great. He's the only guy I know that you're glad to say, hey, Mike, you gained weight. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody else in comics, you see them and they gain weight, and they look like me. But, Mike looks great, and he's never. I guess he's bounced back yet again. I mean, the guy is just indestructible.
Yeah, I got to.
But I'm glad to see he's healthy again because you won't meet a nicer guy. You guys, Michael Turner?
No, but I got to.
A little bit. Sweetest guy in the world.
I got to tip my hat to Wizard and Jim McLaughlin, the guy who wrote the article on that latest Wizard, because they just they talked about everything and how he's primarily focusing on covers. He hasn't done interiors for a long time, and they just talked about his health and his family, and it was interesting to see them pull the curtains behind what's going on with him.
Yeah, and that's another thing that disappointed me about having to leave San Diego was that I get to see a chance to touch base with people that I really sometimes only see once a year. Only get a chance to and in passing, you talk for 3 minutes, and it's like just catch up and or people that overseas guys that come in only for San Diego. It's so hard to touch base with people at San Diego because it's become like an airport now. It's so damn big that if you don't really make a point, like JR, I was supposed to have dinner with JR because I like the whole Guinea connection between him and I, and that night we were supposed to have dinner. I had to leave for the baby, and he was like, "Man, if you don't want to have dinner, you don't just say you don't want to have dinner. You don't have to come up with this bullshit that your wife is having a baby." So, but him and his father, they're like royalty to me because Mita Senior was like one of my idols growing up, still is. So. He got rid of the mullet too, which is nice. John is a sweet guy. A little bit like Cassidy. You got to watch out because you come there with a girl and they leave with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that guy. Him, Turner's the same way. Mike Turner just never disappoints with consistently having some of the the hottest girlfriend you'll ever see.
Pays to draw comics and look good, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. It hasn't worked for me, but hey, works for you guys. Got to get a podcast going, I guess.
Yeah, that's really working for me.
Yeah.
Evening with Sal, that kind of thing. He telling shit stories, that kind of thing.
We'll distribute that for you.
So if you develop that, we get a piece.
Fecal talk with Sal, that kind of thing.
Fecal talk.
And that one that Asian girl, what's her name? She stopped by.
Kwan.
Yep.
Is that her? What's her? I'm sorry.
Yep. Kwan.
Kwan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she came by. She got her comic, and she was there, telling the usual stories about Buzz and whoever else. And she's a big part of Comic Geek Speaks. I see she's on the forum and all that, and she's a sweetheart. She comes by, wants to take a picture and shoot the shit. It's nice. A lot of your guys come up and people that just heard me talk shit on the show, and they're always kind of weirded out that I pretty much look like the guinea that I sound. You look exactly, because normally it's like you expect. Some people don't sound anything like they look anything like they sound. But yet with me it's pretty much, well, he sounds like a grease ball, and then they see me and they're like, yeah, pretty much. He looks like Clemenza from The Godfather. Pretty much.
Leave the gun, take the cannolis.
Yeah. Leave the gun, take the cannolis, kind of thing.
I'd love to hear you and Karen have a conversation on a podcast.
My wife is, she's like, you ever see The Right Stuff? Remember the John Glenn's wife in The Right Stuff? That's
so.
my wife, Karen.
Okay.
She's in with people. She's very quiet, but yet when you get her home, she yells at me all the time.
Yeah.
She's very shy, very well, which I guess she's got issues, which is why she married me. But hey, she's kind of a reserve. She's not nearly the hair farmer, loudmouth Italian broad that my family, expected me to marry. So. It's interesting. That's too bad. You guys, everybody's not coming out to Chicago. That's too bad. You got 300 coming up. So
yeah, we got it.
When is that? That's how many? Because I only focus on what's right now. I've been focusing so much on shitty diapers in Chicago that I haven't looked past Chicago.
It's September 22nd. Is it? 21st, 22nd, 23rd. It's 46
okay, yeah, because I got all my stuff, taken care of. I just haven't. Again, I my mind only can deal with so much, at a time. So I'm all planned on coming out. I guess I'm going to fly into New York and drive in with Buzz and Jesse. So
that's awesome.
That'll be interesting.
I don't know if we're going to do the same again. I'm worried about that.
Yeah, well, and this is turning into a big thing, huh? I mean, that's all I've heard. Buzz was mentioning it, and a couple of guys mentioned it to me at San Diego. So
we're putting our heart and soul into this. I'm doing everything I possibly can to make it the best event for the listeners who are, coming out, and trying real hard to make it awesome. I think it's going to be cool. It's exactly like what we just said. It's basically Artist Alley, the best of Artist Alley in a comic book store, packed with people who are all friendly with one another. That's what this is,
Cool.
Yeah.
Circle jerk.
that kind of thing.
Well, after hours.
That's Friday night.
Yeah, salad tossing and donkey
Saturday
punches
night.
and all that kind of shit.
Donkey punches. Stealing the pumpkin.
Double-decker pussies and all that kind of bullshit going on over there.
I'm hoping that's Saturday night, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I corrupt the shit out of Simone is that I'll just constantly throw crazy phrases at him and let him think that that's how we talk all the time. And this son of a bitch has the nerve to go, you guys, you Americans, you're so perverted. We don't have any of that stuff in Italy. I'm like, say that again? You don't have, the Italians aren't perverted. Like, in other words, Americans, we're so perverted, but over in Italy, they don't talk any of that shit. This is a guy who's got the Library of Congress of porn in his house. He's like Bob Guccione when it comes to, like, you walk into his house and there's just beaver shots everywhere. And he's telling me I'm a pervert. Because I had to explain to him what bukkake was and all the rest of that shit. I'm like, he wanted to know what a Cincinnati bow tie was. And otherwise, it's like he didn't have to know. He wanted to know.
I can still remember that up in New York when you were explaining a glory hole to him.
Glory hole,
and he didn't
what a
understand
rusty accordion was, all that shit. He didn't care, but he wanted to know. I'm like, well, then who's a bigger pervert, me or you? I figured you guys are going to have, but let me know if there's anything that I could do or bring. And I signed up for a sponsorship thing with Peter, and then I got real busy, but I want to, do anything I can. If you need gifts, I'll bring a bunch of swag from the con and tell Alex it got stolen and bring it over there. And a case just walked off, Alex. I don't know what happened to it. Holy shit! Angel was over. Maybe he took it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we're just
Buzz is all excited. Buzz has turned into like the darling of the forum. My God,
Yeah.
I look on there and he's like he's like Lindsay Lohan, that son of a bitch. Sketches and sign up sheets and Buzz fan clubs and win a Tiger Beat, win a dream date with Buzz, all that shit. Love and Kisses Buzz issue. He likes puppies and smell of freshly cut grass and all of his likes and dislikes. He's got the Playmate, data calendar going where he tells what he likes, turn-ons, and he doesn't like jealous people and all that bullshit. It's like, holy shit, this guy, I told you before, you got to be careful. He's that dog at the beginning of the thing, where the Swedes are shooting at the dog, and you go, oh, my God, those bastards are going to kill that dog. And then about an hour into the movie, you go, shit, it's the thing with the head with the lobster legs that runs across the floor, They should have killed that fucking dog, Buzz is that husky at the beginning of the thing. He's great for the first hour, and then, man, after you get to know him,
Why didn't we shoot him?
your daughter's pregnant, someone stole your homework, and, all that shit. Your phone bill's $3,000, Your neighbor's got an Asian kid and all that shit. You gotta be careful with that guy. I'm sorry, I'll be serious.
Oh, now you'll be serious.
Oh, I just see him on the forum, and the guy started to do the commission thing for $300, and then it turned into like Springsteen tickets, I was like, wow, maybe I should sign up for one, I was like, holy fuck. Like, when did Picasso get on the forum, Like, holy shit.
Did you see?
And I think he's done, like, how many has he done? He's done, like 900 or something? I mean, it's insane how much work that guy can do, when he sits down and he puts it together like that. I mean, he's done a ton of great commissions.
And yeah, they all look fantastic. And now he's talking about making a sketchbook out of those commissions to sell at $300.
Some of them I saw, he'd be crazy not to. I mean, they're fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like trying to get a Brother Voodoo one from him, but he's too busy now. Won't answer my calls. He treats me like one of those paternity suit bras he's got nagging him.
You're just not big enough now.
I guess so. I mean, he's a lot better now. He was having some family things going on, but I think things are getting better for him. So it's good to see that he's He lost a lot of weight. He looks fantastic. I mean, he looks like fucking. He's ready for the Asian Die Hard now. You know, he's like thin and got the short hair, and he looks, like he's ready to make the sequel to Enter the Dragon or something. No, have you seen him lately? He looks
yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah.
He's like on the cover of Vanity Fair, with the he's going to play the Mandarin in the new Iron Man movie, I think.
I'd pay to see that.
Yes, I'd pay to see that.
No, he is. It's like I saw him and I'm like, holy fuck, is that Buzz? I want to fuck him now. Because Asians can't pull the chubbiness the way Italians can pull the chubby. I could still play on the whole chubby chasers coming after me kind of deal. Asians don't pull it off well, and Buzz had about 10 minutes there where he gained a little bit of weight, and it was like, wow, the guy actually eats cholesterol, because Asians usually don't eat enough food to get fat. But now he's back in fighting shape. He looks like when I met him, when he was fucking all the Harris Van Perella models. I saw him at the pool at San Diego, and I was taking pictures of him, getting out of the pool, and I put a fan on so that the hair was blown back. And all that shit. It was exciting. It was a mole on his face to get the Cindy Crawford kind of thing going on, and then Simone came and fucked it all up.
I think you two are going to be a big hit at episode 300.
Simone was in rare form again this year at San Diego. He got you heard about what he did, right, for the announcement of X-Men?
He shaved an X in his head.
Yeah,
He shaves an X in his head. And I say, Simone, it's not that I don't think that publicity and that kind of stuff is cool, but you always have to do something. I mean, there's no reason to do something like that, unless you're crazy, which, okay. So he comes over and he's got the thing shaved in his head, and I'm like, it's X marks the spot for an idiot now. You just go, anybody, if God's looking down, he can see you now and go, there he is.
It's a bird target. That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it looked like a K. Didn't even look like an X. The guy who shaved it was a letterer that I think they fired a year ago and was trying to get back in their good graces because an X became a K, and I thought, that doesn't look like an X to me. Not that it would make a difference, if it was an X or a K, but I thought it was a stupid idea. But if they gave me X-Men, I'd shave one in my pubes.
The X-books always bring him back.
Oh, yeah, and he sent me, he handed me off one of the, I don't know if it's going to be a cover or it's going to be a promo piece, but it's fantastic. Taking over for Cassidy's not going to be easy because John was, people loved what John did on the book, but if anybody could pull it off, Simone could pull it off. Because he works his ass off on that book. I mean, to the point where I just hope he doesn't make himself sick, because he really works too many hours on that damn book. And he's got a girlfriend now, so that'll end. Shit don't fly when you got a girlfriend. When it's like the Beast or, Rusty Trombone, you lean towards Rusty Trombone. In Simone's case, I don't know who's playing the trombone and who's receiving it, but hey, it's up to him. What can I do? But you guys, how was your summer? Everybody having a good time, or?
Yeah, disappointing. It was a little upsetting not to go to San Diego, but hey, we always got next year. Next year.
You guys got to think about getting a space for next year.
I know, but I'm looking at the paper. I got the paper right here. Pants picked up the application. $1,800 for a booth.
Yeah, but you get in early. You get the 20% discount or 25% discount. And, if you guys, even have a modest piece of product, or like you talk about, a 300 sketchbook, or you get, people to control. There's ways to defer those costs. Sponsorships. I've told you guys forever and a day I'd be willing to, offer sponsorships for that kind of stuff. If you're willing to take Simone off my hands for a few hours a day.
Hey, have him come by the booth then.
Yeah, you can do some signings that are
There
nice.
you go.
If you're willing to photograph some of the circle jerks that Buzz is involved with, I'll offer some money and throw money that way.
Yeah, but there was a huge line, I guess even like Saturday and Sunday, for folks signing up for next year already for the exhibit.
Oh, no, yeah. No, it's a big thing. I mean, I give them, Yeah, you got to sign up a year in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody wants to expand, and then everybody, well, there's two reasons you got to do it. You get a discount. You get a 20% discount. I don't know what it is now, but if you don't, by say the end of September, it's gone. Everything's gone. I mean, if you're thinking about it, and then you wait to past say the fall, it's too late. Everything's done. I mean, there were guys trying to sell booth spaces on eBay that San Diego had to step in and squash because you could make a lot of money on passing off a space, but they don't allow that shit. So, same with badges. I heard people were selling badges on eBay to get in on Saturday.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, it's turned into that type of thing.
So should we tell people to bring you some baby gifts out at Chicago?
My wife wanted me to put a thing on a jar on the thing. It's a diaper fund, but unless people are going to be putting in $100 bills each, it's not going to do much good with this guy. You go to Pamper, you go to buy the box of those Pampers. You can't believe we're in the wrong business, guys. Formula and Pampers is the way to go. When you go into the drugstore and they got the formula under lock and key, you go, wait a second here, that shit's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is doing the El Natural thing, which is good. But at 2 in the morning, I'll give him beer. I don't care. Shut up. I offer him $300, and the night he don't take it. No, I would have given him $350 last night to shut up, and he wouldn't shut up. He was telling buzz stories and shit stories like I do when I'm out with you guys. Now I know what you guys have to listen to when I'm on the show.
Well, this episode will air before Chicago, so people, if you're
you
going,
guys aren't going to be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'll be there.
Again, not everybody's going to be at Chicago.
Just
Right.
me.
Pissing people off, but hey, that's jobs and sweethearts and crack habits prevent you guys. Then what are you going to do?
go visit Sal, go get his Atomika stuff, and
I'll be in Artist Alley. I'll have Atomika number 8, and which is good. I'll be doing sketches. Anybody wants sketches? I always do. Free sketches. It always pisses Buzz off, but hey, what are you going to do? And we'll be at 300. I planned on it a long time ago, so I'm looking forward to 300. That'll be a good time.
can't wait to have you there.
Yep.
How's it going now? You guys, is it filling up pretty,
Well, go ahead.
Yes,
Brian.
we have on the official list we have 26 artists who will be there, and we had a goal for how many tickets we wanted to sell. We're past that goal now, so it's a raging success from the numbers point of view, and so if everyone leaves happy, then it was a success,
Yeah. Well, it's I think it's what you guys are doing is great, man. I think that you guys got this core group of guys, and everybody, and I say this in all sincereness, everybody who's ever stopped by just to, with absolutely nothing, no ulterior motives other than just, hey, I heard you talking shit on the show. I've always been just guys like us, just regular Joes, man, who just stop by to say, hey, I like the story about the whatever, the poodle or shitting out a window or whatever. Which always is kind of weird when I have to go into that transformation, and turn into Doctor Strange with the suit on. When people go, I have to stop for a second and shift gears and go, oh, okay. The real Sal has to talk about the frozen sombrero at the bottom of the windowsill. And go, yeah, I blame it on you guys every time. I go, those guys, they incite me. I get on there and I want to talk serious, and they just want me to talk shit. So I blame it on you guys every time.
Yeah, we incite you by saying, hello, Uncle Sal, how are you? And then
well,
right there it goes.
It's like, Atomika is I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but sometimes when I listen to your show, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I hear creators on there, and they just seem a little bit too, they take this shit too seriously. They really start talking about their project, and they're just like, they get into it to the point where I think, man, maybe people find it a little too pretentious. And there's nothing wrong with guys.
I think the internet just went down.
Shit.
Oh, no.
Is just what, pull the plug on the computer or what?
That's what we did.
I don't blame you. Shit, I would have done it too.
It just crapped out, and sorry about that.
You guys got to, break into that porn fund and start buying new equipment, I think.
Nothing gets between me and my porn fund. I'm
No,
sorry.
Masseuse #3 is coming out this September with Jenna Jameson. So,
Oh, okay.
or she looks like she looks like Anne Marie from Dick Van Dyke at this point. I mean, I've seen her, and she's not what she used to be.
She was in San Diego too.
She's not that bad. Come on.
No, she's not that bad, but she's definitely not like the type where you'd go out and assassinate somebody for her.
No, not anymore.
She's not A-list. I mean, that shit's been around the block more times than the ice cream man at this point. I mean, you pull her pants down, it looks like a catcher's mitt.
Oh.
No, I mean, Jenna had her day, and like anything else, those are hard miles, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Ron Jeremy. People talk trash about him, but can you imagine what a woman would look like if they had been in as many movies as he's been in?
Yeah.
They what? Look like Simone, but hey. Simone's got some good porn, man. But he's here with his girlfriend, so I better shut up. So
Yeah.
he's in New York with his girlfriend, which is...
So he's in. You said he's here for a whole month.
Yeah, he rented a place in Chelsea in New York, and the son of a bitch goes, "Oh, I got to leave early, guys. I got to get back to New York." On Monday, he called me from San Diego. He wound up staying in San Diego till like Thursday, hanging out at the pool, harassing people. And, and I'm like, because he just loved San Diego so much. He didn't want to, but yeah, he rented a place, and he's going to be there long enough to do Toronto Con. He's going to be up at Toronto, and then he's going back to Lucca.
Oh,
In I think the beginning of September.
Too bad he's not staying long enough to come to 300.
I don't think so. Yeah, if he could, I mean, he's going to try to. It'd be great. I'm going to try to head out there, but I don't think that's going to happen. I was going to try to make it for his signing at Midtown, but that's this weekend, Chicago. But he wants to try to come out with his girlfriend, Greta, and see the baby, which would be nice because when we can hang out and it's not at a con, it's not, it's a lot more relaxed. So maybe if I'm lucky, he can take the kid with him back to Italy for like 18 years.
Like Michael Corleone, bring him back?
Yeah, bring him back, when he's old enough to vote. That's all.
Bring some baby pictures out to Chicago for
I don't know.
listeners to
People
see.
are into that. I was going to post one on the forum, but I thought, I don't know if, I don't want to become one of those guys. I won't mention any names. Steve Root, who kind of jam it down your throat with their kids, No, I mean, it's great.
There's another artist we're not going to get.
I think I'd love to show pictures of my kids, but I think people, sometimes find it boring, and I worry about becoming one of those guys, like Fred Flintstone showing the home movies of Pebbles. Turn the light on and everybody's gone.
Well, you gotta have at least one, or else people aren't going to believe that you actually had one.
I got a good one. I got a couple of good ones where he's with my wife, so he looks, angelic. But the ones with me, it just looks like me, like, I'm literally like the Cambodian, POW holding him.
Looks like you're ready to eat him.
I'm gone, man. I'm sorry, guys. I got nothing left. I mean, he needs to eat. I do the math on this. He needs to eat every 2 hours, and it takes me 2 hours to feed him. So as soon as I'm done, he's got to eat again. So it never stops. It's just like I'm like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia with Sorcerer's Apprentice with the bucket. It just never goes away. He's just always looking for a nipple. And it just never stops. And mine are too hairy, so there's nothing I can do. So I either got to wake up my wife, or I got to schlig a can of Heineken at him at 2 a.m. Just say, "Here you go." Those little bottles out of the mini bar are perfect. Those little Jack Daniels bottles, I give him one of those. He's done. Put a little nipple on it on the Kettle One little thing, and there you go. Perfect size. So you just after the 4th or 5th day you literally sleep wherever. You find yourself. It's like Spartacus. I wake up. I'm sleeping next to the furnace. I'm like the Roman slave. I don't even know where I'm at anymore. You sleep wherever. You wake up and you don't even care. you're just like, I gotta sleep. I gotta close my eyes here at some point, because they're relentless in this pursuit of making you miserable the first 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Shitting, pissing, eating, screaming. That's all they do.
Yep, with very little sleeping.
With very little sleeping. You sleep 2 hours, but let me every 2 hours come and like twist your ear, because the baby wakes up like squealing tires. It sounds like the sound effects from Starsky and Hutch at 2 a.m. You hear, and that's what wakes you up.
Well, we welcome to the world, Anthony.
I'm very excited.
You should be.
May not sound it, but I'm very excited. He's thank God he looks like his mother. Got that whole, Asian American thing going on, so maybe I can put him in some kung fu flicks when he gets a little older, make a little dough off him. People start. You're going to teach him karate and all that. I guess. Sure. Why not?
He can go on one of those. He can go on one of those retreats with Buzz.
Yeah, well, Buzz. We won't go into Buzz. Buzz looks good, so I'm happy for him. Buzz is in a good place right now. Be interesting at 300. Now, who's sponsoring the bar at 300 is what I want. No, did you get Sky or Kettle One or who'd you get?
I wish, but
now explain this to me like I'm an idiot, because it's pretty close to the truth. It's at a comic store is the main thing, because I'm getting confused. There's different days here. You guys are doing stuff.
Okay, I'll break it down real easy. Friday, a lot of people, most of the people who are traveling a significant distance are coming in Friday at some time. And then, so Friday at 7 o'clock, we have a private room booked at a local bar/restaurant that has 36 beers on tap. So we have this whole...
KBD's having his brisk there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we have...
How many beers?
36.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's where everyone can just get together and hang out and just talk about whatever, as a group. And then Saturday morning, starts the actual episode 300, right? So from 9...
What time does that start?
That's at 9. 9 to like 4 is just mingling and talking and everything. And then at 4, we'll do the actual recording of the episode.
Right.
And then that'll probably be about 2 hours. And then when that's over, we're going to go... There's this place called The Works that we went last year. It's like a Dave & Buster's, if you've ever been to one. It's like they have video games and a bar and a restaurant. And so people can just hang out there all night, do whatever makes them happy. And then Sunday... If anybody is still in town, because some people have to go back or whatever, but the people who are in town and feel like hanging around, there's we're going to do like a trivia event at the comic book store, a whole big like trivia thing with prizes and stuff. And then everybody will just, that'll just kind of end when people have to go catch their flight, or whatever.
Right.
Or 5 o'clock.
Or get bailed out.
Right, yeah.
At that point. Go and talk to the night court judge for Buzz and see what we can do to help him out at that point. No, that sounds cool, man. And then I don't know how the hell you guys are going to organize it based on how many people you got coming in. I mean, you got a lot of... Sounds like you got a lot of artists and you got a lot of guests, so it's going to be interesting to see, how that works out.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're trying to, with the help of the forum and people getting information there, the guests coming in are pretty much taking it upon themselves to get from the airport to the hotel, and they're carpooling, and they're doing all that together. We're giving them as much help as we can, like directions and maps and all that kind of stuff. But, and then we'll probably have like a special podcast, like just for people going to 300 with like instructions and tips and how to get from here to there and what that kind of stuff, and give that just to those people. And I'll probably send emails to all the people who bought tickets with instructions and all that kind of stuff.
The password to get in and all that stuff.
What not to eat, stuff like that.
So we're just gonna do our best to help people as much as we can.
Sounds like a good time, man.
Yeah, it should be. We're really looking forward to it.
Pretty exciting. It's got to be exciting for you guys. 300 episodes. It's like, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, tell us about it.
That's a lot of bullshit.
That's right.
Got that right.
How does that work out time-wise? How long have you guys been doing this now?
Since the first episode was beginning of March in 2005.
Wow.
Oh, okay. And it was how many of you back then?
2.
What's that?
There's 2 of us.
How many were doing the show back then?
Just
Same
Peter
amount
and
of
I.
guys?
Yeah,
or
just Peter and I.
Are you like Jefferson Airplane? You guys have added and lost, or what happened?
Yeah.
Added
You're
lost.
like
the,
Menudo.
You're like the Temptations, where you go see them now and there's a white guy in there, or how does this work?
Yeah, that's pants.
Okay, I'll take that, I guess. I'm a white guy.
It was 2, then 6, now 8.
Wow. You guys are like the Osmonds.
Give or
Fuck.
take.
Got to be tough, though, with 8, getting everybody to chime in, or does it work out because everybody can't make it for each episode, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Or there are guys you just don't want to make it for each episode.
There are certain guys we tell different times, and they just show up and
Yeah,
like,
they show up. Hey,
crap.
shit, where you been?
Happens to me a lot.
Yeah. What are you doing? You know?
I'm here for the recording. Well, we did that 2 hours ago. Sorry.
Sorry, man. What do you think? What are you? Liberace? We can't wait on you. Fuck, come on. You think you are David Cassidy? Where the fuck you been? You got to throw one of those at him. I give him the heads up before I do it to everybody else there. But whoever's going to be late, at San Diego, I tell the other guy, watch this. And then when they show up, I just, in front of everybody, just yell at them and just to see the expression on their face for like the first 5 seconds. And then, and I go, oh, come on, I'm only kidding. Don't act like a baby. But it's priceless just to see. When they show up, how they try to, bullshit you while they're late, But you got to give them the yells. Look, if you're going to do this, you may as well get on an airplane right now and go home. I'm sick of this shit. I don't know who you think you're dealing with, And it's usually one of my nephews. Who usually just want to borrow money and go home anyway, so they don't care.
Yeah, someday that'll be your son.
Yeah, you bring cons. It's tough because when you bring family, if you got to kind of, I hate to say this, but I don't go into it with a lot of expectations because a lot of people go to cons because they want to kick back and have a good time, and they don't really want to have to work. So it's hard to get people to realize, hey guys, look, I like to have a good time, but we got we really got to get some shit done here today. So you don't want to have to be that person you despise that yells at everybody, but once in a while, if you don't, man, you turn around and they're like, they're like using the artwork for like, pin the tail on a donkey and shit. You come back and it's just like it turns into complete anarchy every once in a while, and you got to become an asshole. So you got to break out the piece of Hot Wheel track. Say, what the fuck's going on, guys? Like when I was gone, I'm sure. It was, ding dong, the witch is dead the minute asshole got on the airplane to come back to Chicago for the baby. I have no delusions that they weren't like, they're going to love this kid for the rest of his life only because he got me out of San Diego this year. So they could work the booth without me. Without me walking around going, hey, where's my coffee?
Oh, well, that brings up a real good point. If the kid's birthday is a San Diego con, are you going to have to miss the cons because the kid's first birthday?
Well, no. But, it's also interesting that it's one of those deals where the kid's birthday is the weekend of the con, but it's also, Buzz started his Son of Sam joke bullshit, and it's one of those deals where I'm like, all right, yeah, because some people call me Sam, some people call me Sal. He started the Son of Sam bullshit thinking he was cute, but, I got it coming to me, so it's okay. And then other people were like, I'm like, hey, look, guys, I can't blow this off, and then the rest of my life tell my son I couldn't be at his birth because, I was at a Comic Con. They're not, that's not going to fly, even if it's San Diego. They're still not going to understand that. So I said, look, hell or high water, I got to get the hell out of here. I mean, my first instinct was to stay because I had so much time and sweat and invested in that show. That and I look forward to San Diego every year. It's a good time, But hey, your son's not born, you don't have a kid born every day, unless you're Buzz. So I said, I got to do it. Gotta go.
At least the ones he knows about. That's
Yeah, well, he usually knows, but it doesn't make a difference. So And again, he'll call me, "You fucking asshole! I heard what you said." I'm like I don't know he's gonna hear it. You know? Anybody who wants a free commission from him will like drop a dime on me in a minute. You know, they go, "You hear what Sal said?" You know, talking shit about you again. You know, it's worth it. But you know, it's I you know, one of the other things I wanted to mention was Atomika. I'm still it's still got a pulse, guys. I'm really working my ass off on it. Number 8, again, I'll have it at the con. If people, I'm gonna be actually giving out a lot of free ones at the con just to kind of ingratiate myself back with people that have supported the book from the beginning. So if people want to come by. Same story with the sketches and all that stuff. I want to say I'm 4202 in Artist Alley. I don't know if those aisles mean anything, but I'm definitely in Artist Alley at Wizard. And I'll be at 300, and people want to give me a hard time about being late. But I'm going to be soliciting through Diamond this summer for 8 and for 9. 9 is in the can.
Cool.
I mean, it's the coloring can. 8's done. And looking forward to finishing it, man, because I got some other things I'd like to do.
We want to see it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really feel bad. It's just been one of those crazy years, man. I got
Sure.
married, I got a house, and now I got a kid. All like, you know, bam, bam, bam. I'm getting my ass kicked lately with all these pivotal life moments, I guess they call them.
Well, like we said, go check them out, Wizard World Chicago. Go say hello, and it was great talking to you.
Yeah, guys. Thanks again for having me on.
Better believe it.
All right, try to get a
Mercury
nap.
MercuryComics.com too. So
You bet.
Yep. Check it out.
if anybody, I'm gonna post a picture of the little guy on there if anybody's interested.
Yeah, do that.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Get some
Anytime.
sleep.
I won't see you in Chicago, all of you, but I'll see you at
Yeah, I'll see you in
300.
Chicago.
All right, guys.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Get
Gotta
some
keep-
sleep.
Right.
Gotta keep filming, and I'll be in Chicago. So
He doesn't
gotta
know you
represent
yet.
the show.
He hasn't met you that enough yet. You,
Well, yeah.
you got to put your face
I
out.
was next to him in New York City.
Are you going to Chicago, Pants?
Yes, I'm going to
Oh,
Chicago.
okay. I wasn't sure.
Do you want any free stuff brought back?
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course.
Of course.
Stupid question.
While we're talking about episode 300, we did get a few more things from some of our listeners to add to the prize fund. This is from Jim Harold. Let's see. He says, "Sorry that I can't make 300, but I sent you this book in place of me. I'm a three-dimensional person, and the book is not. However, the book is cheaper to send. Jim Harold, a.k.a. Apollo. It is the Vertigo First Taste trade paperback that has premiere issues from, let's see, Swamp Thing, Transmet, Y, 100 Bullets, Books of Magic, Life During Wartime, and Death, the High Cost of Living. So this would be a nice prize for anybody who's not into Vertigo. You can check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We also got a big box behind Pants.
Oh my god!
Um,
Can we bring that over to you?
It's like Christmas.
Holy crap!
no, don't open it up, and there's a letter in there.
Along with a whole lot of crap.
Yeah.
I mean crap in a good way.
There we go. This is from Jason Dyer. He is the host of the Born in the Eights podcast. He is Comic Noob Dyer, I believe his username is. He says, Jason Dyer here, host of the Born in the Eights podcast, which you can find at www.bornintheeighties. I'm sorry, I keep saying eights. It's 80s, 8. And that's born in the number 8 and ts.com. All right, with the plug out of the way, I've sent you guys some good stuff you can use as drawer prizes for episode 300. I'm doing this because I appreciate your podcast and the community as a whole. I feel kind of weird giving straight-up cash to a podcast, so I thought this was a good alternative. I can't make it to episode 300, so I hope you all will enjoy yourselves. And I'm out, bitches. He says, P.S. I think Pants makes lampshades out of human flesh. I'm just saying he might be a serial killer. And then he says, warning, my podcast is extremely explicit and sarcastic. No children allowed. We talk about titties. borninthe80s.com. And he got a whole bunch of...
My God.
I know there's
Titan
some Titan
stuff.
toys.
Yeah.
And,
Look like one of those DK Marvel.
oh, yeah, the
or
JLA.
JLA guide.
Sorry.
What else is in
There's a
there?
tin can in here of some sort.
Oh, it's a Superman puzzle.
Oh, yes, it is.
I think there's an Avengers or a Marvel.
Don't fall in love, pants. Keep pulling them out. What else is in
Pinball
there?
game or something like that.
Oh,
Yes.
these are cool. Little Captain America compared to Hulk pinball games. Holy moly.
Yes, there's a lot of great stuff in there. So that's a lot of fun stuff that we'll be giving out.
Holy macaroni!
So thank you for that. Episode 300 is only 40-some days away, you said, right?
Yeah. I got a whole
We
bunch
got Baltimore to go before that one comes
I
up.
don't even care about Baltimore. I'm so focused on 300. I got a whole bunch of, stuff out of the way this Friday where I ordered a bunch of stuff that we needed, and so I'm feeling a little better about things now. I was starting to get a little crazed, but I've calmed down a little bit.
That's
But,
good.
I'm still not completely calm. I won't be calm until Sunday night when the whole thing's over. And I can.
And you're
Well,
passed out.
I won't be calm until like Monday or Tuesday when the posts start hitting the forum with people hopefully saying how much fun they had. So then I can relax.
And don't forget, episode 300 is made possible by our fabulous sponsors. Please check them out. Please, please, please check them out. It's the whole reason why they're sponsoring us. IndigoInkPrint.com, Viper Comics, Half Hour Wasted Podcast, BushyTales.com, Top Cows, DCB Service, In Stock Trades, eGerber, CollectionDrawer.com, CollectorsZ.com, CollectorsWithTheZ.com, Comic Collectors, Golden Eagle. I'm looking right at the paper and I said Golden Age. Golden Eagle, of course, Fairground Square Mall, Kablam Printing, Jetta, Misfit Corner, Wild Pig Comics, Ape Entertainment, Cadence Comic Art, Mercury Comics, Atomika, of course, Mr. Uncle Sal, Daddy Sal, who we just talked to, and LibraryBinding.com. Please check out our sponsors. They are making this event possible for you. Cool. All right.
By the way, we sold enough shirts, episode 300 shirts, that we basically covered the cost of Rob's plane ticket.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody out there who bought a T-shirt.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Because, like we said so many times before, he's been an integral part in creating the community of listeners, and that's really cool that we could do that for him. All right, this episode of Comic Geek Speak was sponsored by In Stock Trades. If you want to save up to 35% off on all your trade paperback and hardcover needs, just go to InStockTrades.com. And if you order $50 or more, you'll get free shipping. You can't beat that. Friendly, fast service, InStockTrades.com. And if you'd like to send us an email, it's comicgeekspeak@gmail.com, and visit our website at comicgeekspeak.com, where you can go to the episode 300 page and order your ticket. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, the number is 215-279-8839. You can also find our recent episodes on worldfamouscomics.com and silverbulletcomics.com, as well as the latest in comics news, reviews, columns, contests, and more. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.